No time to rest or run for cover. Get up, get up, get up before the road pulls you under. Sleeping on embers, breathing in rivers, waking up shivering on summer's hottest night. Salt-crusted sweat dries dust deep in white lines, dreaming that you'll find it in the nick of time. Ooh. Get up, get up, get up. No time.
I seen some things online that I wanted to visit, some things I wanted to see and capture on film. And two, with the global pandemic, our job won't allow us to leave the state. So we had to stay in North Carolina. So we came down here to the Outer Banks to see the different things we could get into. And it's a bit different from our usual hiking videos and things like that we've done.
Well, I had Blood Mountain in mind, but you know, couldn't go, couldn't make it to Georgia.
So we'll put that one off.
Yeah, maybe next year.
Yeah, but I think this was enjoyable.
Yeah, this was a good little trip.
And it's more of a vacation for us, so we don't have to die on a mountain.
Yeah, well, and live another year to die another day, or whatever that saying might be that I made up.
All right, it's our home away from home, Springdale. She's a doozy. As I came in here, I noticed one problem.
Yeah, what?
There's one bed, and
Look like a midget bed too.
man,
I mean, does this not look short?
huh?
Does this not look short?
She's a little short. She's a little short. For two of us, it's gonna be a little snug. I guess the table's supposed to break down, from what I can gather, into a bed from the pictures they showed me. But yeah, I'm not gonna do that. I'm not gonna sleep across the table. So we'll just snuggle.
Either one of us lay across that table, it will break down.
And the only thing gonna lay across that table is a meal, and hopefully soon we got to get on that.
Yeah, a little hungry.
To the road.
Long
Hey,
trip.
they got a grill.
A grill for a meal.
I ought to turn you over. What'd you do? Fall asleep all night?
Yeah, felt pretty good out here. I'm on the ground.
You about to be. Let me just watch you get out of this thing. So.
You seen me get in? I shook every bird in the tree out. I seen one go pew. Like angry bird.
I think there's a weight capacity to these things.
Don't help me now, I got you.
No, I might miss something.
I'm just gonna have to roll, buddy. At least I ain't got far to go.
Ta-da! You made it.
Oh, that was pretty comfortable. At least it wasn't too cold.
Oh, me. Well,
We're gonna go to the beach.
I reckon.
We're gonna go eat. That's all we gonna do.
I could eat.
Yeah. Oh, sun's up. I missed it. I'm gonna get down here the night before our vacation started. But this time we started out, got early that morning. So when we got down here, it was a little late to do anything. So we just went to it was a school for teaching people how to sail, because it was mostly kids and they kept turning the boats over. They had people out there with bullhorns hollering. So that was interesting to see. And then you always got a good breeze down near the ocean and all. Of course, they wasn't in the ocean, but they were in a big lake or something.
Like a big river or something.
Yeah, I mean.
And they had it buoyed off to where they couldn't go too far. But
yeah,
it was a cool sight to see as we came in, because we immediately seen water and boats, and these were the things I had in mind coming on this trip. So it was really interesting, and it was honestly a bit interesting to see the boats turn over and the people fighting.
Nobody fell out and drowned or nothing.
Nah.
But I got some cool pictures. I mean, I mostly want to take pictures, but
yeah.
But I got a video to do too. So
yeah.
Half-broken horses running through my head. I try to tame them, corral and contain them. I try to put them all to bed. But half-broken horses never fall asleep, bucking in their stalls, kicking down the walls. They fight like hell to get free. They plead and plead, don't you break me, please don't break me. Take me how I am, half mean and wild, fragile like a child, with hopes and fears and blood running hot and fast. Take me how I am. Old worn-in saddles, bridles and bits in the mouth. This little circle pin I'm hemmed and locked in. There's barely any room to move about. Reins and whips of leather flash and flutter all around.
So eventually we ventured out onto the beach. We went down to a town called Corolla, and it was a beautiful day to do everything. The weather was perfect, and we come out on the beach. We were in the search for these horses. This was one of my main reasons for coming down here, was these wild horses that were supposed to be out and about. And without any research, we come down on the beach looking for these horses. I knew whereabouts they were supposed to be, but we didn't see them on foot. So that led us to having to track down a tour guide to take a tour of exactly where the horses were, and they knew exactly where they were.
yeah, when we was down on the beach looking, I had one of them shirts on that said, "I'm with stupid." After we got on the tour guide, it was like what, 5-10 miles down.
Oh yeah, I mean
we wouldn't have seen
it was
one.
It was a 2-hour tour.
Yeah.
So he really took us out there, and I think we ended up seeing like
well, he said about 40 or
40, 45 horses or something like
yeah,
that.
but we did see a lot. We seen what, 5 baby
5 or
colts
6,
whatever you
yeah,
call them.
little baby horses.
Yeah.
The most adventurous part of this was the drive itself. We were in the back of a Silverado pickup truck, and they had benches there, and they seatbelt you in, which everybody was complaining about at first, like, do we have to wear the seatbelts? And then you realize once it starts going, why you have to wear them. It's when we were on the road, it was very fast, and when we hit the sand, it was you would leave your seat when you would hit these bumps.
Yeah, the guy thought he was driving a dune buggy or something.
Yeah,
Bounce up and bounce down.
it felt like he forgot we were back there a couple times, but it was some hollering, screaming, and a little upset.
Couple of good bounces together, you thought you'd ride one of them.
Yeah,
the
that's true.
Bronco. Throws me off.
Yeah.
On the way back, we passed this place on the side of the road. It was a grave digger's dungeon thing.
Digger dungeon, they got it, yeah.
I mean, it had his, I guess, garage workshop thing.
Yeah.
And it had a little thing for kids to ride over things. And, I mean, had a little restaurant thing named after.
Yeah, I think it was the Digger Diner or something like that.
Yeah, I mean, that was interesting. Then he had the big trucks out there, and we got some pictures and videos of that. Now, that was interesting, even though I've never actually been to one of those, what do you call them?
A monster truck show?
Monster truck show.
I didn't know yet.
Hey, buddy, I don't get out as often as you.
Yeah, and they, one interesting thing was the fact that it was there. I didn't know. So Gravedigger is, I guess, the most popular monster truck or whatever, and apparently I knew it was based in North Carolina somewhere, but I didn't know it was here. And so to find that, that's where they build all the new ones, where they set everything up. So it was really interesting to find that, and that was a little surprise for us, just on the side of the road. And the thing he's referring to with the kids riding it, it was like a giant monster truck with a bunch of rows of seats, and we were hoping to get to ride that, but we didn't make it. We didn't make it there in time to do that. But
they said he'd break the kiddie seats.
Yeah.
Sitting in the morning sun, I'll be sitting when the evening comes, watching the ships roll in, and I watch them roll away again. Oh, I'm just gonna sit on the dock of the bay, watching the tide roll away. time. I left my home in Georgia, headed for the Frisco Bay, 'cause I had nothing to live for. Looks like nothing's gonna come my way, so I'm just gonna sit on the dock of the bay, watching the tide roll away. Ooh, sitting on the dock of the bay, wasting time. Hey, looks like nothing's gonna change. Everything still remains the same. Say, I can't do what 10 people tell me to do. Say, so I guess I'll remain the same.
We made our way down to Kitty Hawk, which is where the Wright brothers took their first flight, and they have a memorial thing down there. This park you can go to, and you can actually see where they took off from the hill and where they stopped at each marker, how far the plane got as they were advancing the plane and building onto it. And that was one of the fascinating things we've seen, most fascinating things we've seen. Just I knew very little about it. I thought I knew more than I did, but apparently they had a motor in it the whole time it was going, and I thought at first they were using like man-made gears and stuff, and then they advanced to the motor. But apparently they had their bicycle mechanic build this motor, so it would be made
out of aluminum or something, so it was lighter.
And the fact that they made it, the distance they made it, and I think the furthest distance they made was 800 and some odd feet, and they did that within a minute. And the motor itself, I'm assuming the guy would have been somewhere in the 160 to 200 pound range.
I thought didn't they say the motor was like 180 or
180 pounds. So there's a lot of weight on this plane when it first took off. I can only imagine how exciting that was going down there, but I would have not wanted to be on it, not even by today's measure.
I didn't I've always heard of the Wright brothers over on Wilbur. Wilbur. But I thought Orville just made popcorn or something. I didn't.
Different Orville.
Oh,
it's Redenbacher.
That's a popular name, I guess, back in them days. But no, it was learnable. I mean, you know what I mean. It was interesting. They taught me a little something. But
and the global pandemic hurt us again, because a lot of the factual stuff we could have seen inside the museum was closed. But lucky for us, the Kill Devil Hill was still open. You could walk up the hill and see the monument, and you could see all the markers. So we got to do everything they had outside, which, from what they tell us, is most of the parks.
But they had that. I wouldn't call her park ranger like person, but she was dressed like one. But she told us all the background on the,
Yeah, I think she was a park ranger. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. But that was interesting. She wasn't there. We probably guessed at a lot.
Yeah, a lot of stuff. So she was really able to tell us about how their humble beginnings there in the hangars and sleeping in them. He's in the trees.
They might be giving plane rides. I mean, you had to pay for
At the Wright Brothers National Memorial Museum. Museum is closed due to pandemics. I do believe that we'll see some stuff here. Well, it's a whole lot of walking, she looked like.
Don't try to outrun me.
Yeah, I'll give it a shot.
Lived while they were here. They first started out with a tent, and that was kind of what they had. Then they had built this as a hangar for their glider, but that Anyway, but then the tents didn't work as well, so they started living in with the hangar, and then changed it later to just straight living quarters and workshop in the back. So this is what it would have looked like in 1903, that year they flew. The building beside us would have been the hangar where they actually stored the flyer. So these are reconstructions, but they're built on the same location as the original.
Yeah.
When were they built?
The original one's I think this was 1901 or 1902, and then that would have been 1903. The reconstructions, I think the most recent, we've had to rebuild them a couple times. I think the 1980s was when these specific ones were built. Yeah.
As old as I am, I know nothing about these people.
No.
I mean, they sort of hang glide, didn't they? Did they ever fly?
So they started out, they did, yeah. So they did both, actually. So kind of what it was is they started out with gliding. The reason for that is because no one had figured out how to turn, right? So nobody knew what to do once you got in the air, essentially. And so they're like, let's fix that question first before we move on to powered flight. Because once you add the engine and propellers, it gets heavier, it gets more dangerous, all kinds of things. So they wanted to make sure they could control it first. So for 3 years, they came out for a couple months each year, and they experimented largely from that hill, Full Devil Hill, with their gliders, so unpowered flight. And then once they got that down, in 1902, they made the first turn. And so that was like they're like, okay, now we're ready to move on to the powered flight. So in 1903, they built a flyer, and that's what takes place right over here at the boulder. So you'll see this big stone over there. And that marks where they actually took off on their first flights. They made 4 powered flights on December 17th of 1903, and those are considered the first official flights of human history. So now to count for the first flights, they had to be manned, right, somebody on it, powered, heavier than air, so it couldn't be like a hot air balloon or something like that, and controlled. And so this was the first flights that met all 4 of those categories. You know, other people had done something that maybe met 1 or 2 of those, but never all 4 until this time.
How far were they? Like a half a mile or a mile?
Yeah, didn't get quite
10
that
foot.
far. Yeah, right? The first one was 120 feet in 12 seconds, so fairly short. But then by the 4th one, and you can see because we also put some stones for where they landed, by the 4th one, it was almost a minute, so 59 seconds, and 852 feet. Right, that was all the way down back this way.
So what are we talking about? Power pedals?
I know, right? Yeah, no, so they actually had an engine.
It wasn't
at
a
this
motor,
point.
okay.
They did have their engine, yeah. So what it was is they actually had their bicycle mechanic build their engine for them. Because engines at the time were pretty heavy, usually made out of, I believe, iron or cast iron or something. And they made one out of aluminum with the help of their bicycle mechanic. And so it cut the weight in half. It was a gas-powered engine, 12 horsepower, weighed about almost 180 pounds. Then what that engine did, and kind of the purpose of it, was to turn their propellers. And so the propellers is what provided the force to actually get them off of the ground. So they had worked in their earlier trips for how to sustain yourself kind of in the air, and then the thrust from the propellers is what actually got them there.
Yeah.
In the air.
Okay.
So, yeah.
All right, that's it.
Yeah, great questions.
Yeah. All right, thank you.
Yeah, y'all enjoy.
Should I have to catch me on YouTube?
They should have.
Put a picture of our airplane or something here. I mean, I'm standing here with a video of an empty barn.
So this is where they would have had their aircraft.
But the wings couldn't have been very long.
No, I guess not. Unless they added these in the reconstruction to embrace the building.
I wouldn't think so, but even if they didn't, they couldn't be from wall to wall. Go in there and hold, go in there and hold your arm back. Go boom, boom, boom. Alright. Now look at this.
almost there.
Yeah. My heart attack's almost there too.
We've done worse.
Yeah, on the 18th.
It's sad. This is a sidewalk.
Yeah.
They pulled it up the sand. You can still see sand here.
Pull myself up.
This used to be a sand dune. Pretty impressive.
Yeah.
And they said they pulled the glider up here, slipping and sliding. They're more heroes than I thought before I got here. Water out there.
With them hats on, they look the same. Is that their tomb or something? I mean, what's it got doors?
Who knows?
Is that my tomb?
Here's this bench over here. Right at the water.
Oh, that's where they flew to. Way, way down yonder where the last people are. Let's see if I can help you out. I can't see. Did he push him or did onward? Yeah. Hey, they got
Ready to catch?
They got something all where. Yeah, I mean they all had to have their hands doing something, but it don't make us. Hey, get in his arm or something in between stuff. Yeah. Hey, go put your fist on him and your head on him. Hey, give him 5. What we gonna do here? Hey. Too bad you can't get a picture. Wait a minute. Well, no, there ain't no way I can get a picture.
Crazy is the. I mean, that's the camera.
Yeah.
He that's probably how that picture was took. That one that we seen on the wall in there.
Yeah.
You couldn't go in and see.
Oh. Yeah, I am.
Yeah.
Couldn't see that dot.
So that's crazy. Get some squeeze at it, and it takes.
Yeah.
The bulb breaks and up and up. Hey, tripods were pretty advanced, right?
Hey, yeah. That's
So
probably
sturdy.
probably a survey tripod.
Oh, I'm falling. He done snatched the toupee off, but
They had a kite festival down there. They had a 50th anniversary, 50 years or whatever.
Yeah, in Kitty
Then
Hawk.
I think they had one that was 35 years. They like flying their kites down there.
38 years.
Yeah, and the pictures on the website and all, they had some big kites and a lot of people flying them, so I really wanted to see that, but it just was pouring down the rain.
Yeah, they're
you
like-
couldn't hardly see in front of you or something.
They're like miniature blimps. They're so huge in it.
Yeah.
And yeah, it was down in Kitty Hawk, and it was just a downpour. And unfortunately, we did make it to the site
Yeah.
where they were going to be flying part of it. or at least where you could see them. But it was raining so much.
Yeah, we got soaked just going from.
We got there
20 feet or something.
It was just soaked.
Yeah,
so we didn't get to see the kites, but one thing we were putting off or trying to get to squeeze in was to go see Cape Hatteras, which I'm thankful we did.
that was what, like
It was 2 hours.
2 hour drive.
2 hours from where we're staying.
But we seen the rain cloud storm behind us.
Yeah.
We just kept, maybe we can get there before they do.
Yeah, I really thought that would get canceled on us because of the rain. And I thought, well, we will get out there and film in the rain.
Yeah.
But luckily, the weather was on our side, and we made it down to Hatteras, and we seen a lot of cool information there. And there was another park ranger there that really gave us a lot of information on the lighthouse being moved over the years and the workers there and how they had to go up in the lighthouse with the oil
you
drum.
can go look at all that stuff and it's pretty or whatever, but to hear somebody tell you about it, it makes it interesting and stuff. But
you can just tell that these people live this thing, like they've memorized this stuff and studied it, and it's good to have those people, because we are not those guys to figure that stuff out.
In my wrestling and in my doubts, in my failures, you won't walk out. Your great love will lead me through. You are the peace in my troubled sea. Whoa, you are the peace in my troubled sea. In the silence, you won't let go. In my questions, your truth will hold. Your great love will lead me through. You are the peace in my troubled sea. Whoa, you are the peace in my troubled sea. My lighthouse, shining in the darkness, I will follow you. Oh, my lighthouse, I will trust the promise. You will carry me safe to shore, safe to shore, safe to shore, safe to shore.
Hatteras Light Station has been designated a National Historic Landmark. Put that there in 1998. And there's their certificates. Yeah, well now I realize it's not that long to walk by. Might not be a bad idea. And they might not let you climb up in it if the pandemic one. Oh, okay. I got it. Oh, hold up. What are we doing? I don't know. I didn't want to step in her picture. Oh, it's closed. It's closed. Oh, okay.
It is closed, but you can still walk up to the door.
Okay. It's closed, but you can walk up to the door. Oh. I mean. Oh, on the stairs we'll get to climb.
Alright. Come on. I'm blurry as blind as. You can come on. Where you at? I'm leaving you. Well, that was a good 2-hour trip. She was pouring rain. I'm about to run out of gas. But we made it, people.
We made it through tonight, you wrote down. Richard Gere, it's your heart.
Yeah.
So, this is the, what's she say, principal, which I guess, I don't know what that means. What's that mean?
I guess the principal lighthouse guy.
Yeah.
Like the actual lighthouse guy or something.
So he lived here, and the bigger one there, she said,
All the workers.
hey, keep it down. We filming over here. And the bigger house, the workers would stay. It's a lot of people to man a lighthouse. Wonder whereabouts that was. Did she say? I don't think she said. They lived there.
Yeah, they lived like him and his family, I think. Lived
Well, I know, but I'm wondering when about they started, stopped, and all that. But
yeah, it don't make sense now. They can just throw a switch and turn it on. But back then, they had, unless they had big gas lights or something, they could have.
I'd rather stay in the big house myself. Of course, you make less money.
Big house, you know, it was San Quentin, wasn't it?
We got another park ranger guy up here. Maybe he'll give us some facts.
Oh, you see a bird. You can't have the bird.
Got another one.
Park ranger. He might give us some facts.
You got it? You want me to give it or nobody give it?
I got it. We going right now. I got this joke.
That's the top of something.
Yeah.
But there must be something down there.
We need a room with air conditioning and Wi-Fi. You got?
Good luck. There's no Wi-Fi in the park.
Oh,
You guys doing all right?
pretty good. How are you?
All right. Yeah.
That was a long ride, though, just to look at the life.
Where'd you come from?
Greensboro, North Carolina.
So the workers used to stay here?
Yeah, the light keepers. This house was a duplex.
Yeah.
There were 2 assistant keepers, double keeper quarters. And,
Pretty big house.
well, their families were with them. Yeah. This was one of the few lighthouse stations where they let them, the keepers bring their families.
Yeah.
It was so isolated. I guess they couldn't get anybody to come unless they said you could have your family with you.
What years were you?
Pardon?
What years were people living here?
When did they stop?
Well, this house was built in 1854, and it had somebody living in it up till 1936. And that one was built in 1872, and it had a family in it until 1936.
What did they do? What did it run? The light run by gas?
The keepers? Yeah. Originally, 1870, it ran off of whale oil.
Yeah.
And they used a couple different things, and then early 1900s they switched it over to kerosene.
Yeah.
And then 1936 was switched to electricity. So before electricity, the keepers had to keep the light burning all night long. So they'd have to carry the fuel. They'd take 2 5-gallon cans of fuel every night, and that would be enough to run it. And then somebody had to stay up there because it was basically an open flame. And then during the day, that's why there was 3 of them. During the day, after the night shift was over, they'd have to crank the weight back up because it ran. What made it rotate was clockwork. The old grandfather clockwork has the weights shift, and so gravity would bring the 450-pound weight down over the night, and then they'd have to crank it back up for the next night.
Well, pretty big boys, wasn't it?
They had a lot of physical labor involved. Plus, they had to maintain the grounds. They raised their own food. Livestock was out here, and chickens and vegetable gardens.
I think we read back there it was like 12 floor, or that was compared to a 12 floor building.
Roughly about the same as a 12-story
That was a
building.
lot carried, 10 gallons.
Yeah, that's about 8.5 pounds per gallon. So they were toting over 80 pounds all the way up that staircase.
Imagine they stopped here and there.
Yeah, they probably took a rest. Yeah, you're right.
What the big house guy do? Just make sure they did what?
They basically all did the same thing. They just rotated shifts.
Oh, okay.
One might they 24-hour shift, and one of them they split it up 3 ways, 8 hours each.
Yeah.
They had a lot of other things to do. They, in fact, when there was keepers stationed here, they had to paint it.
Yeah.
They'd use a bosun's chair tied off of the observation balcony and lower themselves down, and that was one of the things they had to do every year. They had to paint that thing.
You know when it was painted last?
Last time it was painted was 2014, 6 years ago. It's due again next year.
Yeah, I was gonna say that wasn't that long ago.
Yeah, you look at it from the pavilion over there across that flooded pond area.
Yeah.
You can, from that side, you can see it needs a good paint job now. There's some places where it's chipped off.
What year was it moved here?
1999. 21 years ago.
Why? I mean, was the ground getting bad over there, or the boat?
Beach erosion. Yeah, it was. If they wouldn't have moved it, it would have fallen into the sea already.
How exactly did you move one?
That was quite.
How do you pick it up to put it on the truck or whatever?
Hydraulic jacks. Yeah, they had to dig all the way around it and went down 6 feet. It's got about 6 feet of concrete underneath it, and then they cut everything you see above ground was moved.
Yeah.
And below ground is about 6 feet of concrete, and they cut that off. They cut it off right at ground level, and then they jacked it up with some big hydraulic jacks and set it on a platform. And the platform had rollers that went down. They built a rail system.
Yeah.
And they just pushed it down the rails with horizontally mounted hydraulic pistons.
I doubt it could have tipped over, but that'd have been a job picking it back up.
Yeah,
it would have been busted.
It's got a pretty low center of gravity. Most of the weight's in the bottom.
Yeah.
So they weren't really worried about it tipping over.
Yeah. So
but on windy days, they didn't move it because of that.
So I'm guessing that moving it was cheaper than building another one? Or they just wanted to keep the heritage?
Cheaper? I don't know. It cost over $12 million to move it. A new one probably would have been more expensive, but I think it was just preserving history.
Yeah.
That one had been there so long, and it was in good shape, other than seawater erosion at the base. So they wanted to keep it.
I would, if somebody say, how much you think it would cost to build that? I wouldn't even say $1 million. It's $12 million.
$12 million just to move it?
Yeah, I know.
Yeah. And that was 20 years ago. Probably 20 million now.
Well,
don't move.
I guess.
Well, you know what? We've lost so much beachfront that now they're starting to give estimates on when they're going to have to move it again.
Wow.
It looks like we might get some rain, huh?
Oh yeah, we got soaked over there somewhere. Where was that we come from?
Kitty Hawk.
Come from Kitty
Was
Hawk.
raining up there?
Yeah, it was flooding. We was hoping that it wasn't over here, but it looked like it's about a cloud that ain't got here yet.
Yeah, it definitely looks.
Yeah, she coming.
It's coming right from the east, isn't it?
Well, hey, we appreciate it. Yeah.
All right. Enjoy your stay.
99 when it was when it was moved, right?
The last painted.
The last painted.
2009 or 2014.
14, that's it. 2014, that's what he
Look
said.
at that. What kind of paint did they use?
It's a pretty good paint, right?
No.
Oh, you don't think that?
No, I think it should not need painted for 50 years.
You gotta think salt and rain and.
You got rust up there coming down.
Fellas would climb up those, what's the equivalent of 12 stories, they said.
12 stories.
With, what'd he say, like gallons anyway, of oil.
5 gallons each hand, so that's 10 gallons 10 gallons of oil.
He says 8 pounds a gallon. Whew. 80 pounds is what he said. So yeah, 10 gallon. 80 pounds. Yeah, I make a couple. Me and you, we'd have to work overtime to get that up there.
Yeah, they had to have a little resting area on every other step.
You know how I'd do.
Yeah, hand it to somebody else.
I'd be the guy in the principal house.
Yeah.
I'd be making somebody else do.
They said he took turns.
I wouldn't take turns. I just make sure they get it done, you know.
Yeah, no, I didn't understand if he the principal guy is the boss or he ain't. I guess
That's right.
He was the boss and the worker.
That would be my argument at the next fella's meeting. That I need to be the boss at the bottom of the stairs. And you got it, fella.
That's like at your job. See, you the principal.
That's right.
You got to work and be the boss.
They work harder than I do.
Working at being the boss.
Yeah, there you go.
So it started to rain at the Hatteras.
Yeah, Cape Hatteras.
Cape Hatteras Lighthouse, and we were done though. And on the way back, we seen another lighthouse from a distance. It was a Bodie Lighthouse.
Bodie Island, yeah.
Yeah, and so we found our way over there. It looked a whole lot nicer, and we went and did some video stuff and looked at the things telling about it. There was no ranger there, so we had to wing that one.
Yeah. Well, it's I guess Cape Hatteras down here is the most popular lighthouse, and we actually made a wrong turn going to Bodie Island, and when we did, I had a thought of like, just another lighthouse, we could skip it. Thank goodness we found the right road, got out there, because the scenery there was just beautiful.
Yeah.
And it was at Bodie Island. It's actually an island, and there's like these little pieces of land and a huge body of water, and the lighthouse was just easier to move around, take pictures and film and stuff. And
they had that little pier thing we walked up on.
Yeah.
And looked over.
And it had all these little pieces of island, pieces of land.
And it just started drizzling a little bit, but the wind was blowing. It was cool.
Yeah. For me, that was the one of the biggest, my favorite parts of the trip was just that scenery and being able to go out on that pier and see this thing.
I don't know one lighthouse from another, so
yeah,
I picked that one over the other.
Yeah, I would.
Yeah, made it to old Bodie Island.
Bodie Island.
Is it Bodie? The Bodie Lighthouse, anyway. Oh, and there's the houses like we've seen at Hatteras.
In my mind, I'm gone to Carolina. Can't you see the sunshine? Can't you just feel the moonshine? And ain't it just like a friend of mine to hit me from behind? Guess I'm gone to Carolina in my mind. Karen, she's a silver sun. You best walk her away and watch it shining. Watch her watch the morning come. A silver tear appearing now. I'm crying, ain't I? Gone to Carolina in my mind. There ain't no doubt in no one's mind that love's the finest thing around. Whisper something soft and kind. And hey babe, the sky's on fire. I'm dying, ain't I? I'm gone to Carolina in my mind. In my mind, I'm gone to Carolina. Can't you see the sunshine? Can't you just feel the moonshine? Ain't it just like a friend of mine to hit me from behind? Yes, I'm gone to Carolina in my mind. Dark and silent late last night, I think I might have heard the highway calling. geese in flight and dogs that bite. The signs that might be omens say I'm going, I'm gone to Carolina in my mind, with a holy host of others.
I think the trip overall was a success for us. The first 2 days we were out here, we got really nervous about everything because one thing more of our trusty research, the camper that we have rented, we did through Airbnb, and turns out it's in a town called Moyock, which I thought was all within the Outer Banks, and it's an hour one way from everything and 2 hours the other, so it was nowhere near like even the middle of everything. There's nothing really going on over here. They don't even have a Walmart in this town and that sort of thing.
Hey,
so
the price was right.
The price was definitely right, and the stay itself was enjoyable. And I would stay in a camper again. However, I wouldn't stay that far out again. But
yeah, have to pay a little extra. That'd be fine.
Yeah,
I burnt that up in gas.
Yeah, that's true. And we also the weather here really turned nasty, and what messed us up, or what I thought was going to mess us up, was the first 2 days it was nice weather, but we filled those up because we drove in on the first day, and the second day we went out and seen the horses and all that, so it took up the whole day. And then day 3 hits and the bottom falls out. All the night before the end of the second day on into the morning of, it was just downpour and thunderstorms. So we really thought everything was going to get canceled on us. Like the kite thing got canceled, and we thought we wouldn't be able to visit the lighthouse, and it was hours drive from where we were at. But somehow, like, weather got on our side, and we were able to pull off everything we wanted to see.
I mean, Siri said 30% chance of rain at 12 o'clock.
Yeah.
And then pour down at 10 o'clock or something other. And one day, and then the next day, it wasn't going to rain. You know, I mean, it kept changing. Of course, the weather pattern thing could have kept changing. I mean, the storm could have shifted, and
really.
But yeah, we didn't know whether it was going to rain or not rain, or how much.
And it did seem like everywhere we went, at the end of us being there, the rain started.
Yeah.
You know.
It started right after the Wright brothers.
We went to
not right after, but before we got to the country.
And we were like getting to the car and getting a little rain on us, and then we headed out to Cape Hatteras, and it was just pouring getting there, and then skies opened up. We got it towards the end out there. It started raining on us.
Yeah.
Get in the car. We get out to the next lighthouse, and we were able to film the whole thing. And it started raining on us. So it was like we were just beating the rain, and we were able to get in everything we wanted to get. And
we did stop and go up over to Sand Dune and went to the beach.
Yeah.
And we were gonna get a few shots and some video, and it started. Well, it didn't start raining on us to the end, but it was lightening and getting dark, and
it was crazy.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think we pulled it off, and it was a very interesting trip. I think it ended up being probably one of our most educational trips for people to watch. So excited how that turned out.
I'm more of a trip person than a learning person, but it was educational for us.
As you can tell by how we're wrong most of the time, and then these people we interview will correct us or correct things we said.
Not knowing we said it's wrong.
Right. I mean, so yeah, that made it very interesting to be able.
In other words, don't listen to what we said.
Yeah.
Wait till they come on.
Yeah, there you go. But at the end of every one of these, we ask the same question, and that's where we go next year. And I have put very little thought into that.
Well, according to my big man, not my supervisor, not the guy above him, but the guy above him. Yeah, it might be another year and a half for this thing. So we might not be able to leave the state next year.
We'll figure it out. We haven't left the state in 2 years because
Yeah.
we were in Cherokee last year and
Well,
then
yeah, but
Outer Banks this year. So
we run out of places to go in North Carolina.
we'll figure it out.
Yeah.
One thing's for sure. I mean, there is a stretch of the AT that goes through Carolina.
Yeah,
so.
but it ain't Blood Mountain. Man.
No, it is not. But we will. We'll keep you posted on that. That's the best we can do for now with the global pandemic going on. But yeah, I guess that's a wrap.
That's a wrap.
Get up, no time to rest or run for cover. Get up, before the road pulls you under. Sleeping on embers, breathing in rivers, waking up shivering on summer's hottest night. Salt-crusted sweat dries dust deep in white lines, dreaming that you'll find it in the nick of time. Get up, no time to rest or run for cover. Get up, before the road pulls you under. Knock the breath out of your madness, burn your photographs at the edges, send your heart back from where you left it. Took a long way to come here, got a long way to go. Climbing up switchbacks, walking through tall grass, color matches on summer's hottest night. Charred bark and dusty ash burned out 2 years back, dreaming that you'll find it in the nick of time. Knock the breath out of your madness, burn your photographs at the edges, send your heart back from where you left it. Took a long way to come here, got a long way. Get up, no time